Picture this, a shipping container, the kind you see on massive cargo ships or stacked in industrial ports. It's unassuming, metallic, and functional. Now, what if I told you that inside one of these ordinary boxes, a miracle was unfolding? What if I told you that this box holds the key to resurrecting the vibrant, underwater cities we call coral reefs? In the Maldives, this isn't science fiction, it's reality. A single, portable laboratory housed in a shipping container has just achieved the unthinkable, growing 10,000 juvenile corals in a matter of weeks. This is a breakthrough of monumental proportions. Today, we delve deep into the story of ReefSeed, the revolutionary technology that could turn the tide in the fight to save our planet's dying reefs. We'll unpack exactly how this lab-in-a-box works. We'll meet the brilliant minds from Australia and the Maldives who brought it to life, and we'll explore the staggering implications this has for island nations and coastlines all around the globe. Can a simple shipping container, deployed anywhere in the world, truly be our last best hope for coral survival? Stay with us to find out. To truly grasp the significance of this breakthrough, we must first understand the catastrophe it aims to avert. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, are not just colorful rocks. They are sprawling, complex cities built by tiny animals. These animals live in a delicate, symbiotic relationship with microscopic algae, which provide them with both food and their dazzling colors. But when ocean temperatures rise, even by a degree or two, this partnership shatters. The corals become stressed and expel their algal partners, leaving behind a stark, ghostly white skeleton. This is coral bleaching. It is not just a loss of beauty, it is a sign of starvation and death. A bleached reef is a silent one. The fish that relied on it for food and shelter disappear. The coastlines protected from storm surges are now exposed and vulnerable. And for a nation like the Maldives, an archipelago of low-lying atolls, the death of its reefs is an existential threat. It's a slow-motion erasure of their natural seawalls, their tourism industry, their very culture. This is the grim reality that conservationists have been fighting against for decades, often with tools that felt inadequate against the scale of the problem. The story begins on the idyllic shores of the Maldives, a nation whose very existence is intertwined with the health of its coral reefs. These reefs are not just beautiful tourist attractions. They are natural seawalls, they are the foundation of the fishing industry, they are the lifeblood of the community. But like so many reefs worldwide, they are in peril, facing the devastating effects of coral bleaching driven by our warming oceans. But on Minyafushi Island, in the South Malay Atoll, a beacon of hope has been ignited. Here, a team from the Maldives Marine Research Institute, or MMRI, embarked on a groundbreaking trial. Their tool? A single, containerized unit called ReefSeed. The results were nothing short of spectacular. During just one spawning season, the local team, using this one unit, managed to facilitate the spawning of an incredible 3 million coral larvae. That number is almost impossible to comprehend, but they didn't stop there. They nurtured these microscopic life forms, turning them into 10,000 healthy, thriving juvenile corals, ready to begin their new life in the ocean. These 10,000 baby corals, each one a tiny victory against extinction, were then carefully deployed. Using 720 specially designed seeding devices, they were distributed across 9 different reefs, giving these struggling ecosystems a desperately needed infusion of new life. Let's pause on those numbers for a moment. From 3 million larvae to 10,000 survivors. To an outsider, that might sound like a low success rate, but in the ocean, it's a staggering victory. In the wild, the odds for a single coral larva are astronomical. It is a microscopic speck adrift in a vast, hostile ocean, prey to countless planktonic predators. To survive, it must not only evade being eaten, but also find a perfect, clean patch of rock to settle on, a process that can take days or weeks. Most fail. ReefSeed's success lies in dramatically shortening these odds. The laboratory provides a safe harbor during this perilous phase, and the 720 seeding devices act as personalized life rafts. These devices are likely small, carefully designed substrates, perhaps ceramic or concrete, that give the settled coral polyps, or spat, a stable, protected home to begin their growth, away from smothering algae and hungry grazers. It's the equivalent of taking a handful of seeds and planting them in a fortified greenhouse instead of scattering them to the wind. What's truly remarkable is the speed. Traditional coral restoration is a painstaking, slow process, often taking months or even years to cultivate corals to a size where they can be outplanted. ReefSeed slashed that timeline to mere weeks. But perhaps the most crucial detail of this entire success story is this. The experts from the Australian Institute of Marine Science who co-developed the system were not there. The entire operation, from spawning to deployment, was handled exclusively by the local Maldivian scientists. This proves that ReefSeed isn't just a powerful piece of technology, it's a tool of empowerment. The ability to do this, to have local teams reviving their own reefs with incredible efficiency, is a paradigm shift in marine conservation. If you think this achievement is as breathtaking as I do and a true game changer for our oceans, take a moment to hit that like button. It's a small click that shows immense support for the scientists on the front lines of this critical battle. So what exactly is this miracle machine? ReefSeed is the brainchild of a collaboration between the Australian Institute of Marine Science, known as AIMS, and the Maldives Marine Research Institute. Visually, it's a shipping container. But cracking open that corrugated steel door reveals a world of controlled science. Inside, you would find a network of pipes and tanks meticulously engineered to recreate the precise conditions that trigger coral spawning. Specialized lighting systems would mimic the lunar cycles and the exact hue of dusk that signals the corals it's time to release their gametes. Water flow and temperature would be controlled to the fraction of a degree, simulating the calm, warm waters of a natural spawning event. These are not just holding tanks, they are aquatic delivery rooms. The system is engineered to be self-sufficient, capable of operating without external power sources, likely achieved through an array of solar panels on the roof and an efficient battery storage system. This is a critical feature, making it deployable on the most remote, off-grid islands where the reefs are often most in need of help. Furthermore, it's designed to minimize the need for divers. This is a huge leap forward. Traditionally, collecting coral spawn is a logistically nightmarish, expensive, and sometimes dangerous affair, requiring teams of divers to work at night, often in challenging conditions. ReefSeed might bypass this by using gentle intake systems that draw in water during a natural spawning event, or by allowing scientists to bring a few select parent colonies into the lab to spawn directly within the system, a far more controlled and efficient method. Every aspect of its design screams efficiency, accessibility, and scalability. This revolutionary concept caught the attention of the G20 Coral Research and Development Accelerator Program, a global initiative looking for high-impact solutions to the coral crisis. They saw the immense potential in ReefSeed and backed it with a $1.5 million grant. It was a significant investment, a high-stakes bet on innovation. The recent trial in the Maldives was the acid test. Would the system work as designed? Could it be operated by a local team after a period of training? Would the $1.5 million investment prove to be money well spent? The answer to all these questions was a resounding, emphatic yes. The system didn't just work, it exceeded expectations. It passed its test with flying colors, proving its utility, its efficiency, and its potential for global scalability. The successful cultivation of 10,000 corals from 3 million larvae in a single season isn't just a scientific achievement. It's a massive return on that initial investment, validating the vision of its creators and the faith of its funders. It signals that a significant expansion in the production of this technology is not just warranted, but urgently needed. The journey to this success wasn't instantaneous. It was built on a foundation of collaboration and knowledge sharing, a truly human story of partnership. To prepare for the trial, scientists from the MMRI were invited halfway across the world to Australia. Imagine the weight of that journey. They were not just researchers, they were ambassadors for their nation, carrying the hopes of their people. They traveled to the heart of the world's largest living structure, the Great Barrier Reef, For a marine biologist from a small island nation, standing on the cusp of the Great Barrier Reef is like an artist visiting the Louvre for the first time. It is a place of pilgrimage. They were there to witness one of nature's most spectacular and synchronized events, the annual autumn mass coral spawning. It's one thing to read about it in a textbook. It's another entirely to be in the water as the ocean turns milky with the promise of new life. Imagine being there. As the sun sets and the water temperature is just right, the entire reef, for hundreds of kilometers, releases its eggs and sperm into the water column in a massive, coordinated blizzard. It's been described as shaking a giant underwater snow globe. It is a moment of profound, primal creation. It was here, amidst this breathtaking natural wonder, that the Maldivian scientists underwent an intensive boot camp. They learned the fundamentals of coral reproduction and spawning from the world's leading experts at Ames. They absorbed the intricate techniques for collecting gametes without damaging them, for assessing their viability under a microscope, for facilitating fertilization in a controlled environment, and for nurturing the impossibly delicate larvae through their first critical stages of life. They weren't just learning a process, they were inheriting a legacy of research. They took this invaluable knowledge, this direct, hands-on experience with the miracle of life on the reef, and they carried it back home to Manyafushi Island and their brand new ReefSeed station. They were armed not just with technology, but with the confidence and the expertise to make it work. This fusion of cutting-edge Australian technology and dedicated Maldivian expertise is the secret ingredient to ReefSeed's success. It's a model for how international cooperation can tackle our planet's biggest environmental challenges. It's about combining resources, sharing knowledge, and empowering local stewards to protect their own natural heritage. The lead scientist for Ames on the project, Dr. Mohammed Azmi Abdul Wahab, emphasized this spirit of partnership. He stated, "We have learned much from working with colleagues at MMRI, which will help us make improvements in the training and refinements in the way the system itself can work. This isn't a static project. It's a constantly evolving one, learning and improving with each deployment." This collaborative spirit is so crucial because the stakes are so incredibly high. Dr. Wahab continued, "Coral reefs in the Maldives sustain communities and livelihoods, but, like coral reefs globally, they have been impacted by bleaching driven by climate change. Innovations like ReefSeed can play a role in supporting restoration efforts, providing hope for these communities." That word, hope, is everything. For decades, the narrative around coral reefs has been one of decline, of loss, of impending doom. We see the ghostly white skeletons of once vibrant reefs, and it's easy to feel helpless. But projects like ReefSeed are rewriting that narrative. They are injecting a powerful dose of optimism and, more importantly, tangible results into the conservation world. And the vision for the future is even more ambitious than simply replanting what's been lost. The controlled environment of the ReefSeed lab opens up another incredibly exciting possibility: assisted evolution. By collecting spawn from corals that have naturally survived bleaching events, scientists can selectively breed more heat-tolerant strains. The lab becomes a matchmaking service for the toughest corals, creating offspring that have a built-in genetic advantage in our warming oceans. These supercorals could then be the ones seeded back onto the reefs, proactively building ecosystems that are more resilient for the future.
The plan now is to take this proven success and run with it. The goal, as Dr. Wahab stated, is to offer ReefSeed to as many other island communities as possible. Imagine a fleet of these container labs, a global network of coral arcs deployed across the Pacific, the Caribbean, and the Indian Ocean.
Imagine local teams on dozens of islands, in Fiji, in Belize, and the Philippines, all equipped with the tools and the knowledge to actively restore their own reefs, growing hundreds of thousands or even millions of these climate-resilient corals each year. It's a vision of a decentralized, community-led global restoration effort. It's about building resilience from the reef up. The success in the Maldives is the blueprint. It demonstrates that we don't need to wait for a single silver bullet solution to climate change to start healing our oceans. We can take direct action now. We can build these arks for coral, these nurseries in a box, and give our reefs a fighting chance. This story is about so much more than just a piece of hardware. It's a testament to human ingenuity, the power of international collaboration, and the profound impact of empowering local communities. Watching the MMRI scientists take the knowledge from the Great Barrier Reef and apply it to save their own home is incredibly inspiring. If you want to see more stories like this, stories of hope, innovation, and people making a real difference for our planet, make sure you subscribe and join our community. You won't want to miss what's next. So, as we look to the future, the 10,000 young corals now growing on 9 reefs in the Maldives are more than just corals. They are a living testament to what's possible. They are symbols of a new beginning, the first generation of a reef reborn, cultivated in a humble shipping container by the very people who call those islands home. They represent a pivotal shift from passive conservation to active, intelligent intervention. For every haunting image of a bleached, barren reef, there is now a counter-image, a Maldivian scientist carefully tending to thousands of pinpricks of life in a lab, a seeding device being gently placed on the seabed, a new coral beginning its life. The ocean's depths have unveiled a powerful new ally in our fight to protect them, and it comes in the most unexpected of packages. This isn't just good news, it's a blueprint for resurrection.